Hello, hockey fans, and welcome to NHL Draft Pros.
Shoots, he scores!
On today's video, we're going to check out some highlights of the smooth skating defenseman from the Kitchener Rangers, Cameron Reid. And if you enjoy hockey content, hit that subscribe and like button. We are approaching 14,000 subscribers, so I'd really appreciate getting there. Thanks. And if you want to see some scouting reports on some of these other prospects, head over to NHL Draft Pros on YouTube or hit the icon below, and that will bring you to our homepage. All right, Cameron Reid, like I said, played for the Kitchener Rangers in the OHL. He had 54 points in 67 games, and he's a 6-foot, 174-pound left-hand defenseman. And the first thing that you're going to notice with Cameron Reid is that, man, he can skate. Check out the wheels on this kid. He absolutely shreds the ice when he's skating around. Like, come on, check out that highlight right there. He is a great transition defenseman, and the puck handling skills are pretty impressive as well. He's got that creativity with the puck on his stick. Like, check out that little sequence right there. Unreal. So, yeah, he can get around pretty quick. He's pretty nimble. And, you know, the thing is that he's a little bit on the smaller size, I guess you could say, for a defenseman listed at 6 feet. But he's got that skill set that you can't just pass up. Like, these clips demonstrate how, like, look at that little stop. Oh, my God. Talking about breaking ankles right there. And they end up with the goal. But watch this. Like, he just puts on the brakes, and it's a flyby by the other player, and then he sets up his teammate in the slot there, and he gets a nice goal. Now, the other thing is with Cameron Reid, got a decent shot. Watch this thing right here. Boom! That was a bar down, as they say. Set himself up in the perfect position there, and absolutely lasered that thing upstairs. Watch this come off the stick. Like, oh my God. Yeah, so he is an offensive threat, I guess you could say. You know what? He's a 2007 born defenseman, so he's kind of on the younger side in terms of the draft. And, you know, like I said, what he brings is some offensive flair. I wouldn't necessarily say he has that high offensive impact like, say, Lane Hudson, but he's, you know, a step below, I guess, in terms of like what Lane Hudson brings. But, man, come on. Like, look at these clips. Like, this is some impressive stuff right now by this prospect. He loves to activate. Like I said, you know, you're noticing a theme here in these clips. This is a defenseman who loves to activate and join the rush. And he's so good at skating that he's just able to, you know, join in. Like this one right here. Like, look, he takes off. He sees an opening and he's like, all right, I'm going to go for it right here. And then watch this. Just, you know, sets up a nice goal right there. So, yeah, he's great in transition too. Plays a similar style to Jackson Smith, who's in this draft, except Jackson Smith is 6'4", right? Because they both are left shot D. They both are great skaters. They both love to activate and join the rush. And so he's a little bit higher up on the rankings. You know, Cameron Reid is kind of like in the mid-range right now in terms of rankings. But, I mean, he does possess some really nice skills. And some nice transitional play, like I said. He's got some good creativity with that puck, too. I'm going to show some clips of his defensive play and, you know, what he brings. Like, watch this one right here. So that's Brady Martin. That was Brady Martin on top of him. And he got away from that, and then he does a nice little deflection right here. Come on. Come on, Cameron Reid. Stop playing games with this team right here. Holy moly. That is some really nice stuff right there. Now, he's not the most physical defender. You know, he needs to get a little bit stronger, too. That's kind of like he's on the weaker side. He's still slight, a little bit skinny, I guess you could say. And so he's weak on contact. Needs to get stronger. Yeah, there's just some little things that he needs to work on. But, I mean, in terms of the offensive skill set, he demonstrates some really good things right here. Like, look at this one right here. Watch that little bounce there, little deke, and then boom, top cheese. Thank you very much. So you see that? Look at that. So showing a little bit of physicality there. I guess, you know, I just said that he's kind of weak, but look at that little body check right there. Spoke too soon. Nice goal. Nice goal, Cameron Reid. Wow. All right, so here is some of the defensive play. So look at this. Uses his stick well here. Gets the little outlet. Not bad there. Same thing here you're going to see. He's going to follow the player in there and pins him up against the wall. So not bad. But now here is the stuff that he needs to improve upon. So this one here shows his weakness. Goes up against a bigger opponent and he gets knocked down. So little things that he needs to work on, but I mean, the tools are there. Great skating, edge work, four-way mobility. And like I said, he uses that to his advantage to, help with the transitional play. He's good at rush defense. He's a good rush defender because of that skating, right? Gaps up well. Now, what he needs to work on, he's got to get stronger. Got to bulk up a little bit. Got to be able to handle, the bigger players. Physicality needs to be a little bit more physical. I think that will come if he gets a little bit stronger, if he gets a little bit more strength, he'll be a little bit more assertive. So that physicality might come with that, I guess you could say. And sometimes he tends to rush decisions when he can slow it down, I guess you could say, that slowing the pace down. But I mean, you know what? I consider him, he could be a second pairing in the NHL. At worst case scenario, third pairing. But there is some potential there. And the tool set, like I said, it's got some really nice highlights as you saw in this video. So yeah, that's it for Cameron Reid. And like I said, help the channel grow by hitting that subscribe and like button. I'd really appreciate it. And we'll see you soon. Cheers.